Hey everybody, this is Philipp, television beat writer for Bleeding Cool. Welcome back once again to part 3 of our 3-part coverage of this year's Tribeca TV Festival in New York City. Our first 2 parts, we took a look at Wayne, which we're pretty confident is going to become one of our favorite shows of 2019. And we also took a look at the fall pilot season, which were 5 comedy/dramedy pilots that we also had a chance to look at and offer a review of. So if you haven't looked at those yet, please do. You're going to find those available here on Bleeding Cool's YouTube channel, and you'll also be able to find it on bleedingcool.com. But right now we're going to be taking a look at the Midnight Episodics, which are pilots that are a little bit off the beaten path. Supernatural, crime, horror, and this year we're going to be taking a look at 3, and I'm going to be using my cheat sheet just to make sure I give everybody proper credit. First, from Shudder, we're going to be taking a look at Deadwax from creator and executive producer James Ransone and from executive producer Peter Phok. We're going to look at Pagan Peak from what I believe was just purchased by Sky, creators Cyrill and Philipp. And we're also going to be looking at Patricia Moore from Blackpills, from creator Fraser, and from producer Thompson. What we had were 3 incredibly strong pilots. One that needs a little bit of work when it comes to the lead character, but the 2 others that are already showing amazing potential. So let me start off first with Deadwax from Shudder, and that's where my concern comes in. Not with the actress, but with the character. Etta Pryce is a generic, ye-old, grizzled detective that we've seen 100,000 times before, and the concept that she's someone who investigates and tracks down and finds albums, LPs, and sound recordings. The concept's awesome. I like that. But it's not enough to make up for the fact of the cliches that I saw in the pilot. I mean, if I see one more time of, the detective who doesn't want to have the conversation with the personal life because the personal life wants to talk about marriage or moving in together or something like that, and it's just... that kind of got to me, and especially because Hannah Gross, who you know from The Sinner and who you know from Mindhunter, is a quality actress, and she's eating up this role and comes across like she is waiting for more. So I think she needs to be fed, which means let's round this character out a lot more, because the visual of the pilot I thought was fantastic. It came across as one of those slick, clean, Hammer television series horror things that used to freak me out as a kid when I was younger. Plus the whole use of the audio aspect I thought was just really impressive. To take music and sound and just range it from the beautiful to what clearly is looking like the demonic. The best way I always described this pilot when I walked out was like a cross between High Fidelity, Constantine, and a little bit of Rob Zombie's The Lords of Salem mixed in to the mix also. But again, Deadwax, got to work on that lead character a little bit. Next up from, again, what I believe is Sky, is Pagan Peak. Now, it's a procedural. It's very much True Detective crossed with The Bridge. You've got a ritualistic murder that happens on a border area between Germany and Austria, and the 2 opposing detectives. He is, grizzled and haunted by something that happened in the past. She's, just still, she's still committed to the job and still trying to get to the bottom of what's going on. So I'm not saying we're seeing a lot of originality here, but what makes it good are, well, a couple of things. First off, and I want to make sure I get their names correct, Julie Jentsch and Nicholas Ovzarek. And I know I apologize if I'm murdering their pronunciations, but their performances are just bring subtle little nuances to what are typical characters we've seen before. I love the fact that she has a personal life. She may not have a husband or a wife or a girlfriend or a boyfriend and kids, but she's got a good support system in the police station where she works at. She's a good friendship with her superior and a maybe unrequited love. And she has a relationship with her father. You can still sense there's a longing in her. But they don't make her the social awkward like a lot of times we'll see in these types of shows. And from his standpoint, they really are selling this idea that whatever it is his backstory is, people really drive the point home of, it's understandable why he is this way. And again, I bring up the Mindhunter thing and Hannibal in this regard too, because of the fact that he has this sense and this aspect of things. And you can imagine being wired into those types of thinkings, and those types of killers are going to get to you after a while. It's just going to have to. But their interplay and interactions, and the way he automatically has become very protective of her, even in that interrogation exchange, I just thought was a very, very, very nice touch. The visuals I thought were amazing. There are scenes in there that rival Stanley Kubrick from The Shining, and they found a way to make the woods and mountains look 1,000 times more dangerous than David Lynch was able to do for Twin Peaks: The Return. So a lot of credit there. And a supporting cast that I would love to get to know, and I think that's very important. I think of Dexter when I think of that regard, when you have a supporting cast that you want to know more about along with your main characters. And our third and final from Blackpills, we have Patricia Moore, which my description on this is going to be like near dark combined with something wicked this way comes, combined with hills have eyes. I've always loved this idea of the concept of the traveling haunted house, this traveling evil that comes to you as opposed to you stumbling upon this. Now, the band in the Australian outback of a family of cannibals that are escaping and running from a cult, that right off the bat has got me very interested. So you're giving me a good enough backstory. Marlo Kelly as the lead, to me, I feel like as good as the family is, it sinks or swims based on her performance, and she is amazing. She can play innocence on one hand, and she can play grittiness in the other, and then turn around and just have the world weariness of a young woman who just has seen too much at this point in her life. She really carries this role, and again, with a strong supporting cast to help her out, she really establishes things very well. And there's just something, as large as the Outback is, I want to say also, this pilot found a way to make the Outback look even larger and more alien. And the other thing is, I wanted to say about when I always talk about, do you give me a reason to tune in? It found a perfect reason for me to tune in. Anytime you're going to end just at the point where you're entering the gates of the town you have to go to, you've got me hooked in. And the fact that they were smart with the way they brought them, the idea that refrigeration unit, where you're going to keep the bodies to keep the meat fresh, gets punctured, what are you going to do? You're going to have to go to town, you're going to have to get apart. And that just is such a wonderful, beautiful setup for what you know is going to be a lot of nasty, bloody drama to come. So again, those are the three shows we were able to look at. I hope you guys get a chance to check them out and see them for yourselves. Again, that's Deadwax on Shudder, Pagan Peak, which should be on Sky, and Patricia Moore on Blackpills. Again, my name is Ray Philipp, television beat writer. See you on bleedingcool.com.